Welcome to Will and Mark's Healthy Sports Obsession. I'm Will Hubner here with Mark Mashashik. We are two doctors of physical therapy, and we are here to answer your PT questions as well as give our take on current sporting events from a health perspective. As always, send your questions to willandmarkshso@gmail.com, and we will answer them on the show. Hey everyone, Will and Mark here. Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about Wimbledon and Roger Federer, talking about the athletes with the greatest longevity in each sport. We're going to go over Robo umpiring, good or bad for the sport, and we're going to go over the NFL, NFC East, football predictions, and also fantasy value in each one of the teams in that division. So starting off with Wimbledon, very exciting one. So Roger Federer loses to Djokovic in 5 sets, and it ends up going to 12 sets apiece. The new rule change where it's no longer, go until somebody wins by 2. We go into a tiebreaker in that 5th set.
Right.
Djokovic wins 7-3.
How do you feel about that new rule, by the way? You a fan or?
I don't like it.
Why?
It's just, why? What's the point? We're going to shorten it so that we don't have to wait.
It was Wimbledon when Eisner and that other guy went for all day, right?
That was 40-some games, yeah.
Right. That was awesome.
So the difference, though...
I don't follow a lot of tennis, and that got me really interested in watching a lot of tennis.
Well, I think that actually screwed up the day, because now there's only so much daylight in Wimbledon, right? So that kind of pushes things back a little bit.
It's a practicality issue.
But if we're talking championship match, you got 2 of the all-time greats going, Federer, Djokovic. I'm not turning that off.
Let them play, yeah.
Yeah.
Let the guys play.
You would think Djokovic has the clear advantage with Federer being 37 years old, Djokovic 32. The longer you go, you'd think Federer would wear out, but that wasn't the case. I mean, he won, I think, the last 2 sets.
Sure. Talking tennis, though, these guys aren't spring chickens for tennis players either.
Right.
Neither of them. I mean, Djokovic either.
Yeah. Federer's in great shape. So let's talk longevity. So Roger Federer already has the most Grand Slam titles at 20. He's going for his 21st at 37 years old. I think it's a pretty clear case that Roger Federer is the greatest tennis player of all time. He's won the most amount of matches.
But can Djokovic catch him?
I mean, he's 5 years younger. I guess if Djokovic goes on a great run for his next 4 or 5 years, his potential. Nadal's up there.
Yeah, where does Nadal fit in? What's Nadal's age? We got an age on him?
Nadal?
33?
No, I think he's a little bit older. But anyway, Nadal has a higher winning percentage against
33.
Federer.
Right on the nose.
Right on the nose, 33. So I think Nadal has a better chance, if things pan out, of being the greatest than Djokovic.
But Djokovic went through that injury slump, too. There was like something wrong with him for a while.
Yeah.
And he seems to have broken through that. I wonder if he can keep it up.
Yeah, they're all incredible.
Right. So in the case of tennis, is there anything you think that's going on in these guys' games? We didn't used to see men play high levels of tennis and still be winning the major championships into the mid-30s, and we are now. What do you think the biggest difference is? What's going on?
Oh, conditioning. And I think taking time off. Like, you don't have to play every single tournament. You can kind of take little breaks. As you're younger, you're playing in as many tournaments as you can, win as much money as you can, kind of get your ranking up higher. When you're Federer, I mean, you enter a tournament, you could be number 3 in the world, number 2. I mean, you've got a good chance to win the whole thing.
Right.
So I think just better conditioning and better taking care of your body.
Just our scientific knowledge of conditioning and nutrition. It's just helping these guys go longer and longer.
I would imagine he's getting rehab almost every single day, regardless whether he's hurt or not.
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. And Nadal's one of the most conditioned athletes we have.
Right.
So these guys are in great shape.
Yep. And we're seeing the ladies go longer too. Serena and Venus still not their greatest showing this time around, but
which is interesting. In the women's side, it seems like there's a push towards the younger women in the game are actually winning tournaments pretty consistently. I feel like they're making a big
history.
Push.
I feel like it's always been like there's something about just very young performs well in tennis for the women. I think it's an anomaly that Serena and Venus have been able to do what they've done so long in their careers.
Yeah.
But I think that when you talk about a lot of these guys, and as we're going to go into the other sports, I'm going to say the same thing. Sometimes you're just performing at such a higher level than everyone else that even when you lose a step or two, you're still right there with the other elites.
So we're talking. So correction. So Federer's had 1,222 wins. Jimmy Connor's actually number 1 overall with 1,274.
The
But
great-
Roger Federer's played 5 years less than him and is still going. So I think he's going to surpass that number for sure. And then Nadal is actually fourth on the list with 956. He's 4 years younger than Federer, showing no signs of slowing down. So there's potential all the way here. Djokovic, number 7, 871 wins, and he's a year younger than Nadal. So all three of those guys already in the top 7. I predict they'll go down as 1, 2, 3 by the time they finish their careers in terms of overall wins.
Yeah, plenty of time here if they stay healthy. Plenty of time. Very impressive what they're doing in the sport of tennis right now.
All right, so let's talk.
Couldn't be more excited
Let's talk
about it.
basketball then.
NBA longevity.
Yeah.
Who do we got?
Well, I mean, the guy who's played the most seasons, there's actually a tie for 5 here. So you got Robert Parrish, Kevin Willis, Kevin Garnett, Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki all played 21 seasons.
21 seasons.
That's impressive. Dirk is the only one to play with one team. He played with the Mavericks his whole career. The rest of them have played with anywhere from 3 to 8 teams.
One thing that jumps out is that they're all big guys. You think big guy, a lot of wear and tear, all that weight on your body, but actually, I mean, you don't need the explosive quickness to play. You can kind of hang in there and bang on the boards and hang around, play basketball for a long time.
I mean, with somebody with as much athleticism as Vince Carter.
That's Vince. Vince, you're right. So I think Vince falls into the category that at 25, he was so athletic that degrading now to 41, 42, he's still on the athletic level of your average NBA player, in my opinion. Now, he can't go long minutes because, obviously, he's got a lot of wear and tear mile on the knees. But I think athletically, he still could hang with the young guys. But I think it's just some guys are just at such a high level at one point in their career. To lose a couple inches on their vert, they're still...
Yeah, it would be fun to see practices so Vince Carter's now on the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks are one of the youngest teams in the league. You got Trae Young, Kevin Huerter.
And is Vince definitely coming back this year?
Yeah, I think he's on their team. But could you imagine practice? You got a 41-year-old man who's still extremely athletic going against the quickest guy, Trae Young. Imagine him trying to cover Trae Young. I bet he blocks him almost every time.
I don't know. It's interesting. That's how Michael Jordan ruined Kwame Brown's career, right? He wouldn't let him win in one-on-one. Just kept beating him until he couldn't take it anymore. And
who would you take one-on-one? Vince Carter or Trae Young if they played right now?
Ooh.
Trae Young's a lot smaller.
I'll take Trae Young. That's a safe
Young,
bet. But if you told me Vince beat him, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
Going to some of those 20-year guys. Any of those?
Yeah,
guys
Kobe went 20 years, so he may have gone longer if it wasn't for the Achilles.
Right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up there.
Seems
a lot
like
of big men, yeah.
Moses Malone. It seems if you play for the Lakers that you want to play for longer too. Malone finished with the Lakers.
Most of the guys on here, now that John Stockton played for 20 years, most of the guys on here are power forwards and centers.
Yeah,
a few exceptions for sure.
I think that's just that is the least athletic positions, and they are tremendous athletes, and there are more athletic positions now in the NBA as they were back in the 70s and 80s. Sometimes I think Kareem could just be a big man, and I don't remember watching him play at the end of his career, but I'm assuming he didn't have to move around a lot to be pretty effective in 1985 basketball games.
Yeah, I mean we're talking 19 seasons for Shaquille O'Neal. There's just not that many people as big as Shaquille O'Neal. So even if he has injuries, even if he's, you're going to take a shot with Shaquille O'Neal to be on your team. When he was on the Celtics, I wouldn't say he was dominating. Same thing when he was on the Cavs, even a little bit on the Suns. But,
Yeah, similar story. There's in the news this week, somebody tried to drop kick Arnold Schwarzenegger, 71-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger. Didn't seem to faze him.
Oh, he's a beast.
Yeah, just kicked him and he made a funny noise. That was all.
All right, let's switch into...
where are we going?
Let's go NFL.
NFL.
So NFL, clearly the league is dominated by kickers.
It's the most important position.
Morton Anderson played 382 games. Gary Anderson.
Couldn't get the guy off the field. I think they are related. I think they were...
Yeah, Adam Vinatieri
still going. 353 games. Let's skip the kickers, though. Who else we got that is a positional player?
So first non-kicker is Jared Rice, 303 games.
He's the same category as Vince Carter to me. It's just like he was at such a higher level than everyone else. Like he was the fastest. I mean, I know his 40 time was slow, but the guy was fast and he was the best route runner. When he started to decrease athletically, he could still get by on, good hands and great route running.
Greatest receiver of all time?
There's no question. I don't think it's. I mean, the only guy I think that may have had a better year than him is Randy Moss, but Randy Moss didn't do it consistently like Jerry Rice did year in year out.
Quarterback Brett Favre.
Favre was a machine, played forever. Even Bountygate couldn't knock him out. They were trying to break every bone in his body. He just got up and played football.
Yeah, then you got a lot more kickers. Then you got
Darryl Green, local hero. He went about 20 years. Again, he's another athletic freak.
And then you got Tom Brady down at 24, 269 games.
Tom's still going strong, and he has his TB12 products that he promotes. Do you think there's any validity to that, or you think it's just that he's that much smarter and he can just pick these guys apart still?
Yeah, I mean, the offensive system, he's throwing quick passes. He's not really spending too much time in the pocket, throwing it downfield a ton anymore.
So they timed his 40 last week, and he beat his combine 40 time.
It's impressive.
20 years apart. I think there is something to the TB12 method. Now, I don't know everything that goes into it, but I know how absolutely disciplined and regimented he is about taking care of his body. He works with Alex Guerrero, who is I don't know what his I think he's I know he's not a physical therapist or a physician, but I've seen the work he does on Tom, and he does a lot of work that we do in physical therapy. I mean, he's doing tons of soft tissue, just digging on. Does it say what his actual degree is?
This is an alternative medicine practitioner.
And so alkaline diet advocate. So alkaline diet would be an anti-inflammatory diet that we know is what Tom Brady pushes. The interesting one on that is no strawberries. Can't have strawberries.
So
Guerrero
Guerrero,
sees it as acidic.
He has a master's degree in traditional Chinese medicine from Samra University in L.A.
His
an institution that's been closed in 2010.
Yeah, his degrees have been bashed in the media before, but I'm telling you, I've seen him working on them, and he's doing good stuff. And Tom believes in it. So I mean, basically, Tom says his body is his temple. It's everything he does every day. There's no coffee. There's no alcohol. Everything that he does is so that he can be healthy to play football.
Yeah, I mean, he's worked on a lot of high-profile guys.
Tom met him through Willie McGinnis, I think. But yeah, I think nutrition's a huge aspect to it. I'd go into a side note of just particularly to NFL. I think there's a big fall off in nutrition once you hit a certain age. I remember watching Hard Knocks with Chad Ochocinco and seeing him just say McDonald's is his favorite food. He eats McDonald's every day. And I'm like, how is he performing as this high level athlete on food that we would not consider the best fuel for performing in football? And I think that's a lot of you guys. You see a lot of the guys who, if they're not if they have a poor diet, they sort of hit this 30-year-old wall. 30 years old, boom, they kind of fall off a cliff. I think if you got to get the nutrition straight to be able to progress well into your 30s. A lot of guys I've heard having the diet issue.
Yeah. Side note: so did you see? So Ja Morant's obviously not playing in the summer league,
right?
Having that
you told me about that
scope. So he's sitting there in the behind the team, eating chicken fingers and cheese fries.
I think you can get away when you're 19. I don't think it'll affect him this season. But if his discipline and habits don't change later in his career, I think it will. I think your body breaks down to your chemistry and the physics of your body. But if you have bad chemistry in your body, it's going to break you down.
Yeah, I'll never forget when I was watching a video or an interview with J.J. Watt, and he was talking about how extreme his diet is, how extreme his sleep schedule is.
He had, going back to Hard Knocks, he had a bed in the stadium.
And they asked him, why do you do that? And he said, "This is my job. This is just what
Full-time.
I have to do. I have to be in as best physical shape as possible." And I feel like there's got to be a leader somewhere on that team that can tell Ja, "Hey, I know you're young, but come on, let's start some."
Memphis? Who is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, neither we have no idea. Who's up in Memphis right now besides Ja Morant? I don't know.
But somebody should be telling him, let's start some good trends early. And there should also be a team nutritionist, I feel, that would step in and maybe give him some advice there.
Right.
Especially just talking about healing times and just promoting as good of a healing environment as possible. Cheese fries not the way to go in my medical opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think on a 19-year-old body, it might not make a massive difference. But long term, I think it really will affect him. Going back to other Hard Knocks training stories, remember seeing the Bengals Hard Knocks where Chad was doing the poor body stuff, showing that who's Debo? Played for the Steelers forever. James Harrison. Harrison played outside linebacker, a difficult position to go long into your career, and you've got to be able to keep speed. Watching his regimen of he had all the team staff, but then he had his own personal acupuncturist, his own personal massage therapist, his own personal chiropractor, and he had the same idea. It's like, this is my job. The coolest one was the acupuncturist, because she tells a story like, he comes in and says, "What's the most amount of needles you've ever put in an NFL football player?" And she goes, "I put 120 into Curtis Martin." And Harrison goes, "I want 240 right now." First time he ever did it, she did it. And she says her needles bend when she put it into him. He's just always working on keeping his body healthy.
Yeah, I'm reading a report here saying James Harrison spends roughly $300,000 a year to keep his body in playing shape.
I think that's an underestimate.
Yeah.
But I think he's done now. I don't know if he's officially retired, but his same things I was saying: massage therapy, acupuncture, chiropractors.
Yep.
You got to do it. I mean, that's the rigors of the NFL. So some of us, I've known great physical therapists who don't always love working with professional athletes because they're doing the same thing every day. They've got to go back in and correct the same thing that went and took a smack to the neck, and now we're working on this again.
Yeah, I mean, you're spending, say, $300,000 or whatever it is. Maybe that keeps him in the year or the league, 1 or 2 years longer. That's an extra few million, so it's not a hard decision in terms of.
We can't go through NFL without talking about the ageless wonder Frank Gore, 36 years old, playing running back. How does he do it? That's just a mentality. I think they say you got to get lucky to not be hurt. I think he is hurt. I think he knows how to play hurt. You know, I mean, he's had bad knee injuries early in his career and gone on to like
a tank.
Dude, he's a Hall of Fame. He's in the top 10 all-time rushing list, and he's never had tremendously prolific seasons. He just grinds.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk baseball.
Baseball.
So I have the info here by seasons. You have it by games.
Games played.
So at games, looks like Pete Rose,
That's how you become the hit king.
Winner.
You play a lot of baseball. 3,562 games played.
Yep. Yastrzemski, Hank Aaron, Ricky Henderson, Ty Cobb.
I think Yastrzemski's nephew just got drafted by the Padres or something.
Is that true?
Yeah. Side note.
So Nolan Ryan played 27 seasons. Tommy John, interesting. So he played 26 seasons. The guy infamous for his Tommy John surgery.
Right. So
collateral ligament.
For everyone who doesn't know, that Tommy John surgery is not made famous for the surgeon, but actually for the person the surgery was done on, which is Tommy John.
Correct. Came back and played well. So kind of a cool story. Now going to the first guy I thought of was Cal Ripken. Right, played all the consecutive games.
Iron Man.
Where did he fall on that list?
He fell 8th overall. Just over 3,000 games.
I think he set the record. I think it was 2,131. I remember watching that game. He hit a home run right before they celebrated it.
I remember watching it too.
It was a pretty cool moment. They put the 2-1-3-1 up on the
2-1-3
on the warehouse out there. Yeah,
and that broke the famous Lou Gehrig's record.
Lou Gehrig,
2,130. Yes. Best. Funny story about that is a good lesson that if you were maybe out tonight for too many drinks and have a headache in the morning, you shouldn't call out of work, because the first baseman for the Yankees before Lou Gehrig played, Wally Pipp, called out for supposedly what was a hangover, and Lou Gehrig took the bat that day, went 2 for 4 with a home run, and Wally Pipp never played first base for the Yankees again. Don't get yourself Wally Pipped. Show up to work.
That's right. So we're talking about baseball. Let's talk about what they're doing in the Atlantic League, kind of an independent baseball league. They are utilizing technology, basically robots, to umpire their balls and strikes.
Yes. And this is a sort of, I don't know the direct line, but it's sort of an experimental thing that they're thinking about doing in MLB.
Correct. So in terms of overall, so you still got to have a home plate umpire. So the home plate umpire is actually still going to be saying ball or strike.
Right.
But they also need to be there for
interpreting the game.
The game, yeah. I think they're still the crew chief, right?
Right.
Or not the crew chief, but they still got to call plays at the plate.
Still got to track the outs. Yeah, they got a lot of jobs besides just calling balls and strikes. It's
right.
It's not an easy job, Major League umpire.
So it all stemmed from kind of this article that came out. So from 2013 to 2015, the average umpire was 86% accurate and relatively consistent. So obviously that's very impressive, but if you have technology that can get 100% right, is kind of one of the arguments for we should do it. Where do you stand on?
Yeah, so it's interesting now that it comes around, because I was always for this. I always wanted to push it. I hated seeing like a bad call at the end of a game and it changes on one bad call. But now that it's kind of here, it's freaking me out a little bit, because watching it in the Atlantic League, they're doing it. It doesn't look like it is accurate. it looks like it's missing some calls.
There's been a few hiccups.
The players seem to be more against it than for it. And when you told me your feeling on this, Will, you actually started to turn me around a little bit. What was your idea of why you don't like robo umping?
Yeah, so I don't like it because I think there's an art to pitching, right? So like some of my favorite people I like to watch pitch aren't the guys throwing 105 miles per hour nowadays. It was guys like Greg Maddux, right? And Greg Maddux could put the ball exactly where he wanted to be, outside corner, and he could just slowly put it like a millimeter left over and over and over again to where the umpire started calling strikes that are just like 2 inches off the plate.
Tricked the umpire. But he had a skill in that he could trick the umpire almost.
He's putting it, he could locate that ball perfectly in the same spot.
I guess that's where it breaks down.
Over and over and over again.
Should we be allowed to trick the umpire? I like your sales pitch on that. That sounds like baseball to me. There's the old saying in baseball: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I know that doesn't work for spit on the ball every time, but there is a degree to there's a trickiness to baseball that makes it partly
and
baseball.
you want that human element. I think it's easy to say, hey, that was a ball, hey, that was a strike, but each umpire is a little bit different, and I think that also gives baseball a little bit of a kind of a cool feel. Like, you got to feel out the umpire for that time. Everybody always says, I don't care how you're calling it, just make sure it's consistent. I definitely agree with that.
I definitely agree with that, too.
But what we were talking about, just kind of like messing around, like how could you, if you're a batter, how could you kind of screw with the system? Like, what are they using for landmarks? Are we talking like, is it the letters that most people say to the
I
knees?
can't believe it doesn't explain it in any of the articles. How do they calculate? I guess it must be the same box for everyone.
Right. So
it's based off lasers, right? What are they moving the lasers for every batter that comes in? And if they're moving the lasers for every batter that comes in, who's deciding what those measurements are set to? Yeah, they must be using this. Like, Jose Altuve must really hate this because he's got a tiny little strike zone.
Well, he like it. It's hard to throw a strike there.
Yeah, for his real strike zone. But if he's got to use the same strike zone as Aaron Judge,
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, come on, let's go back to the old way."
Yeah.
Judge would love it.
Well, we were talking about, like, how are we going to pull our jerseys? How are we going to kind of mess around to give us the smallest strike zone possible?
Yeah, but you could always. I mean, umps aren't really going to go for that. I just don't know how they're going to calculate strike zones to be different for everyone. Yeah. You sold me. You turned me. I'm back against. I still want to sit on the fence a little bit, see how this thing goes. I don't hate the idea, but right now I don't like it. Yeah. No, don't change my baseball. Stop changing my baseball.
Well, we're already literally changed the baseball to talk about
juicing
the balls and doing all that now.
Okay, you can juice the balls.
Don't change my umpires.
Chicks still dig the long ball. Juice the balls. Don't change my umpires.
Yeah. All right, interesting. Let us know. Comment or email us. Tell us your thoughts.
What do you think? You like? We want to know. Listener, reach out. Are you pro or against robot umps?
If you YouTube kind of Robo umps, you'll get some videos of definitely balls that appear to be outside of the strike zone that are called strikes based on the technology. So it's not all the way there yet, but I'm sure when they do the study, I mean, if it's 86% accurate with the human element, maybe it'll be 98% accurate with this Robo ump.
Right.
Obviously still better than the 86%.
Right.
All right. Let's go to the NFL. Switch gears a little bit. Talk about football and also some fantasy value.
Okay.
So let's start with, we're in Northern Virginia here. That's where we do our podcast. Let's talk about the Redskins, who we hear about most often.
Right.
Big news of the day is Alex Smith getting the external fixator taken off.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so good news for Redskins fans. Let's go back to quarterbacks, though. Assuming he's not ready for the start of the season, we're hearing talks of maybe, originally it was Case Keenum's definitely going to be your starter. Haskins maybe comes in middle of the year, depending on how Keenum's doing. Now we're starting to hear rumors of Haskins looking good. Maybe he's actually going to start the season. What do you think there in terms of who starts the season and who has the better fantasy value?
I mean, it's the safe bet to go with Case Keenum for the start of the regular season. In that, I mean, they got to be pretty confident Haskins is ready to roll if they're going to start him. They talk about dealing with a rookie quarterback, just the head stuff that goes along with it. If he comes out and he struggles, and then you got the fans calling for Keenum because they haven't seen that yet, it creates a difficult situation for Haskins. I think it's always safer to go in there with the vet. Any injury, he struggles, it gives you an opportunity to have the rookie come in and maybe, boost the ego a little bit, save the day. I mean, if Case struggles and Haskins come in and struggles, it's not like they're calling for, I don't know, trade from a different team, or I don't know what the third string is now, but or Colt McCoy. I don't think you're going to have a lot of people calling for Colt McCoy just because Haskins struggles. But I think the safe bet is to usually go vet and let the rookie get in there as the opportunity comes up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think they're thinking that Haskins is more of the future. Keenum's kind of this fill-in guy,
or a mentor. I'm sure Alex is there mentoring too. Like the young guys need to learn from somebody, you know.
My thought was just looking at the schedule, kind of like what you're saying. The Redskins play Eagles, Cowboys, Bears, Giants, and Patriots in their first 5 games.
That's tough.
So take out the Giants, which we assume are going to be probably on the lower end of the winning spectrum.
Right. That's a road game
Eagles,
too, though.
Yeah, at Eagles. Cowboys, that's not going to be a cakewalk. That one's at home for them.
At home, I'll take the Redskins probably.
Bears at Redskins.
That's tough.
That's a tough one there, too. And then at home against the Patriots. So they could easily go 1-4, 2-3 there. Maybe get lucky, go 3-2. I think it'd be really good if they could go 3-2 there. But then after that, you got Dolphins, 49ers, Vikings, Bills, Jets, Lions.
That's
you
good.
got a little bit of a softer schedule there. So maybe see how Keenum does with the first 5.
Yeah,
and
give
then
him
bring
the tougher
in
schedule.
Haskins as the fans are getting a little worried about this.
Any
season.
fantasy value for Haskins?
You tell me. I think that he's got to be a stash away player. Obviously, I don't think he's going to start the season like we're saying. I think it's going to be, maybe he'll have some great games starting week 6.
Yeah, in redraft leagues, I won't own Haskins. Yeah.
But I bet he's not going to go drafted, and he's probably going to end up. If you need a pickup, maybe pick him up week 6 as a starter just to see what he can do.
Maybe.
I bet you people will pick him up just to see what he can do.
Maybe.
But yeah, probably not worth
pretty deep. Probably won't own him. How about fantasy value for players that are on the Redskins, though?
Right. So talk to me a little bit about Josh Doxson. Is this the year he's finally going to kind of stay healthy and be an actual fantasy starter?
I don't think so.
No. All right.
I mean, he just doesn't do it. I mean, we've been waiting for it every year. He just doesn't do it.
He's got the talent.
He's a pretty good red zone option who just doesn't seem to pan out.
He comes out with some 50-50 balls. They
that's
usually
all,
give him a few shots.
I think that's his strength. I don't know if the rest of his game's developing. You got the 2 rookies there. McLaurin, super speedster, really talented, but not overly productive at Ohio State. I mean, Paris Campbell was, really, the yards and touchdown guy. I think he has some potential there. I like Paul Richardson if he can stay healthy. Kelvin Harmon slipped way far to them in the 6th round. I don't have really intel on why he slipped to the 6th. I mean, he was looked at as potentially a 2nd rounder at NC State. He's someone who we could see come on too. Jordan Reed. I mean, I guess you're just hoping he doesn't get hurt. I don't own Jordan Reed. If I want to take a tight end, I need more reliability. I've owned Jordan Reed before. And then you've got the stable of running backs, which is a long, long stable.
Yeah, so you got Darius Geis coming back from an injury, ACL reconstruction, and you got...
He's going on an average of round 5 right now.
You still got Adrian Peterson, workhorse last year, that assuming he's going to still get a bulk of the carries too, if not just to ease the younger guys in that have these health issues.
We haven't seen Darius Geis play a football game yet.
Right, and you still got Chris Thompson, again, injured last year. Played some of the season, injured last year. He's still, I would imagine, has to be your 3rd down guy. He's just explosive.
I think
but you also got Bryce Love, who could also be that 3rd down guy.
But he's probably going to start on PUP as coming off an ACL reconstruction himself. The thing I'm seeing here is I'm just shocked that Adrian Peterson is going in round 12, 13. And Darius Geis is going in round 5. I love Geis. I hope he turns out to be great. But right now, Peterson's the guy who's getting is the only one that shows he's getting the work. We haven't seen Geis play yet. I don't even know that he can. I'm not going to take him with a 5th round pick.
Would you take Peterson before Geis?
No.
Just because the value, the ceiling of Geis is much higher than the ceiling of Peterson.
Yes. But they signed Peterson to 2 years. I don't think they plan to just hand it over to Geis as soon as he's ready to go. I think Peterson hangs in there. I don't love either of them right now. I think that there is value in this running backfield, but I'm not going to overpay for someone if I think it's going to be someone else's job. Right now, I'd much rather get Peterson later. Obviously, not very valuable in PPR. But yeah, my value on Geis is low until I see him play and have a role. I mean, he's got 5 people he's competing with here.
Yeah. What do you think of Chris Thompson? Is he worth a pickup, and kind of what rounds would you start thinking about taking him?
He always gets hurt. In PPR, he obviously has value. But I'm not seeing him go. I mean, it's late. It's late. Bryce Love is another player I love, but I don't know if it's going to be this year. Decent defense.
Yeah.
Wish they didn't lose the middle linebacker there.
All right, so let's go through the schedule.
Okay.
Just tell me wins or losses. Just write down the wins there. All right,
Wins
so
or losses? Wins or losses?
first one, they're going to play at Eagles, start off the season.
Yeah, I got that as a loss.
Okay.
What
Cowboys.
What about you?
I got that as a loss as well.
Okay, we're agreed.
All right. Cowboys at Redskins, who you got there?
I got the Skins.
I'm also going to go Skins there. Bears at Redskins.
I'm going to go Bears.
Bears for sure. Redskins at Giants.
I'm going to go Skins.
Skins, and then Patriots at Redskins.
I'm going to go Pats.
All right, so we got them at 2 and 3 the first 5.
Yep.
Now let's just go with our hypothetical theory. Haskins comes in. All right? So now you got Redskins at Dolphins.
That's a win.
Go and win. 49ers at Redskins.
The push. I'll give them the win.
I'm going loss there. Take 49ers, Garoppolo. Redskins at Vikings.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Vikings.
Yep, Vikings get that one. Let's go Redskins at Bills.
Ooh, man, it really depends on how he's developing. I'll go Bills.
I'm going Skins there. Jets at Redskins.
Skins.
Skins. Lions at Redskins.
Skins.
Skins. Redskins at Panthers.
Panthers.
I'm going to go Skins
That's
there.
a
I think that's a
push
big
for
win
me.
for the Skins. Redskins at Packers.
That's the Packers.
Yep. Eagles at Redskins.
I got the Eagles again. I think the Eagles are going to be really good.
Yep, I got Eagles there too. Giants at Redskins.
Got Skins.
Skins, and then Redskins at Dallas to end the season.
I got to have them split with Dallas. I can't predict them to beat Dallas twice.
Yep,
So
Dallas
that's got me in at 7-9 for them.
All right.
I couldn't calculate both of ours at the same time. It's too hard to do the math. We're about the same, 7-9.
All right, we'll go 7 and 9.
So let's just talk quick about some of these other teams that are in the division and where we think that they're going to place around them. I think you got from our contempt here that the Giants are probably going to have a pretty bad season.
Right. So if we're talking about people to be thinking about on the Giants, obviously Saquon go number 1 overall in most leagues.
Probably number 1 in PPR for me, Saquon. Number 2 in non-PPR. I put Elliott over him in non-PPR.
All right. So no brainer. If you have the chance to get Saquon,
You're basically
taking
taking
Saquon.
Yep.
Right.
Other players.
After that, you're thinking Evan Ingram. You thinking about taking him as a tight end?
They've got no one else to throw the ball to. They're going to stink and be behind. I hope he's healthy with the concussion issues last year, but he's healthy. He should see a ton of balls. He's sort of charted in as one of the round 6 guys right now.
Okay. What about Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate?
I mean, they have value as bench receivers, but I'm not super excited about them.
Not excited about Golden Tate?
No.
Really? Guy, Eli Manning, not a great quarterback at this point in his
Sure.
career, I would say. I think there might be a ton of almost like a Jarvis Landry type situation in Cleveland from years before. Not a great quarterback, just doing short passes to Tate.
Yeah, he's great yards after. He's one of the best yak guys in the game. I just don't think Eli's gonna. I don't think Eli's gonna throw for that many yards to make these other options that valuable. If you like him, if you like Tate, I've got no problem. There's probably going to be a guy in the same range as Tate that I'm going to like better, but I have nothing against him. I think he could have a 800 yards and 5 touchdowns year. That's a solid fantasy wide receiver fill-in if he stays healthy.
Yeah. Any chance Daniel Jones sees the field this year?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if Eli struggles, what you got to see what you got. I mean, if you're going to finish in last place, we could have a potential Arizona Cardinals situation in our hands. Like, they stink. They're going to finish in last place. We got to see what we got in Daniel Jones, or maybe we're drafting Tua still first overall next year. We could see the same situation that we saw in Arizona from this past year.
Well, it's just a little confusing as to why when they drafted Daniel Jones, they kind of gave it this 2-year window of we think Eli's going to be the starter for the next 2 years, and we're really mentor and ease Daniel Jones into it.
Yeah, that's definitely the plan.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, well, it makes sense if Eli's good and he's carrying you to the playoffs, but nobody thinks that's going to happen. So we're very likely going to see Daniel Jones this year.
You think Giants ownership thinks that's going to happen?
I think that's what they're supposed to say, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe people fall into false thoughts when they're really entrenched in them. I think we'll see him. I think he'll struggle. I don't think that means he's done, but I think he has a long learning curve if he's going to make it.
All right, do you want to go through their schedule real quick?
Okay.
All right, so Giants at Cowboys.
Where are we? Loss.
Lost you up. Bills at Giants.
Loss.
Take the Giants there. Giants at Bucks.
Loss.
Okay, loss. Yep. Giants at Redskins at Giants.
Loss.
Vikings at Giants.
Loss.
Giants at Patriots.
Loss.
Yep. Cardinals at
Loss.
Giants. I'll take them to beat the Cardinals.
What?
Yep.
No chance. We're betting on that game.
Giants at Lions.
Loss.
Cowboys at Giants.
That's a loss.
Giants at Jets.
Loss.
Let's take them to beat the Jets.
Whoa. Battle in New York.
Giants at Bears.
Loss.
Packers at Giants.
Loss.
Giants at Eagles.
Loss.
Dolphins at Giants.
Win.
Gotta win there, yeah. Giants at Redskins.
Loss.
Eagles at Giants.
Loss.
Yeah, so I think I got him at like 4 wins. You got him at, I think, at 3 wins.
I had him at 1 win, Will. You weren't paying attention. The
One
only
win?
time I said win was against the Dolphins.
Really? 1 win?
Yeah,
All right, and I got him at 4.
Okay.
All right, maybe we'll do a little over-under on that one.
Yeah.
I'll take over 1 for sure if you're going 1.
I'll take under 4.
All right.
That's fair.
All right, so lots to look forward to, Giants fans.
Yep, have a good season.
Hopefully
Root for
Daniel
Saquon.
Jones yeah.
Root for Saquon. That's still something fun to watch.
So that's an interesting point. So when we talk about fantasy football, you've got typically if you want a running back, you want them to be on a good team, right? So they can just be the power horse, just give them the rock over and over. You're just kind of going down a lead. It doesn't matter with Saquon.
Yeah,
he's going to be in there first, second, third down.
There's a balance of you want a good offense, but he is the only he's the whole offense. Literally, their offense could only get 3,000 yards this year, and he gets 2,500 of them or something.
Who gets more catches this year, Golden Tate or Saquon?
Saquon.
Really?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
All right, interesting.
I think Saquon's good for what do you get, 91 as a rookie? I think that's easy for him.
So if you're Giants management, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying, no way, miracle, we win 8 games this year. Miracle, right? We have no chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why am I going to take my stud Saquon and just bury him to the ground? Got him for 3 more years after this upcoming year if you choose a team option. So why not maybe you take him a little bit easy, maybe only give him
The coaching
15
or
to
the
20.
owners?
Either.
Well, the coaches are going to get fired if they don't win, so they're not going to do that.
They're getting fired either.
And the owners got to put butts in the seats. The only thing people want to see is Saquon. I think everyone's saying, let's watch Saquon.
You think Giants fans are saying give him 30 rushing attempts a game?
Maybe that's overdoing it, but
Right.
yeah, I see what you're saying to a degree, but I don't think you're going to say, well, let's just manage him to 10 carries a game because people will be in an uproar. Okay, we got to get to the Eagles because I'm a little excited about them.
All right, so let's talk about the Eagles. Let's start off with Carson Wentz.
Like him or not?
I love him. I think he's a great quarterback.
If
he can stay healthy.
So I've been looking at this roster, and I've been looking at Carson Wentz as I don't want to draft him because I can get like a Jameis Winston a couple rounds later, and it's fine. And he does get hurt every year. They're collision injuries. So he tore his ACL on a collision. He fractured a lumbar vertebrae on a collision, which you think of are freak injuries. But he's also hurt in college. I think he only played 4 games his last year at college, so it is worrisome. But when I look at this team, when I look at this roster, Will, first of all, I see a studly offensive line. Okay, Jason Peters and Lane Johnson are both good enough to be starting left tackles. They got 2 of them. They got their first-round pick could be a starting left tackle, Andre Dillard. They have an unbelievable offensive line and depth. And then you know what they have for a receiving squad?
What do they have, Mark?
They got a friggin' basketball team. It's a friggin' basketball team. Look at this. You got your 2 tight ends, Ertz and Goddard, both 6'5". J.J. Arcega-Whiteside literally played basketball in college. He's 6'4", 6'5". Then you got Alshon. This is your small guy on your basketball. This is a basketball roster. We got powerful.
Deshaun Jackson's their small guy.
Well, Deshaun Jackson is a point guard. But as far as your rebounders, Alshon Jeffrey's your small guy. He's known for going up and getting the ball in the end zone. There's just so many touchdowns that can go around. If you told me that Goddard was going to catch 5, Ertz was going to catch 10, Alshon was going to get 8, Arcega was going to get 7. Now you got the running backs are going to add something. There could be a lot of touchdowns in this offense. A lot of touchdowns. I'm saying calling them the Philadelphia 76ers this year. It's a basketball team.
Tell me a little bit about. So you've already mentioned Arcega-Whiteside, but a guy that kind of goes under the radar and actually did pretty well last year, Nelson Aguilar. How does he fit into this?
I think he's the odd man out in this stacked up offense right now.
You think he finishes the year on the Eagles?
I do. I don't see why you get rid of him. He's a good player, but I think he's just more of a filling guy when Alshon's down. He really didn't excel when a lot of the other guys were on the field last year. And you bring in Deshaun. Does Goddard see more time on the field? Yeah, I don't see Aguilar. He's not a guy I'm drafting. I think he's a great fit. Like, if he's starting and you've got Alshon is out and Deshaun's got a bad hammy, yeah, you can go pick up Aguilar and play him. But I see him. We just named that basketball team. He's not on the starting roster. He's coming off the bench.
So basically, the quick, speedy guy is going to be Deshaun Jackson for them.
I don't think his career. He's 32 years old. I don't think his career is over. I think it's a really good situation for him to be in too. This is fun. This is a fun football team.
Let's go running backs because they have a lot of depth at running back.
Oh yeah.
So no longer have Ajayi.
No.
Where did he end up?
I think he's still a free agent.
Free agent. So, but they brought in Jordan Howard. So the guy to Chicago. It's good for him because I think Tariq Cohen was kind of doing, at least fantasy-wise, doing damage.
Sure. He didn't fit Matt Nagy's system as well. I don't know if he fits Doug Peterson's system that well. Peterson's on record saying that he wants to use running back by committee. I think there's a chance if Miles Sanders shows that the rookie out of Penn State, if he shows that he's better than these guys, he could potentially come out and be a top back. Jordan Howard's a good, not great running back. He sort of plods a little bit. He's great between the tackles. He can pound and get grind and get you a couple yards, but he's not. Miles Sanders has a much higher ceiling. I'd rather take Miles Sanders than Jordan Howard.
I like all their guys. Corey Clement did good and kind of.
He had some good games. He had some bad games. Same thing with Josh Adams. I feel like Josh Adams and Corey Clement are like the same player.
Same thing, Wendell Smallwood. All three of those guys I feel like could have a role on this team.
I think if they have a role, it's that they all share a role. And in fantasy football, if your team is if you're the team that your guy has 5 running backs, you really got no running backs from a fantasy standpoint. So it's a fantasy risk to play at running back. They all can score touchdowns too. I mean, this is just this team is built to score touchdowns.
I think Miles Sanders might have the most upside in terms of running back.
Yeah,
because
we've seen the other guys and none of them have broken out.
Yeah, I may want him before Jordan Howard.
Definitely. Oh no, I would definitely
out of the two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him on my bench.
All right, so let's go through the schedule.
Eagles.
Yep, Eagles. So Redskins at Eagles.
I got now. I'm trying to go back and remember and make sure I get them right.
We both got Eagles.
I got Eagles.
Eagles at Falcons.
Falcons.
I'll go Eagles. Lions at Eagles.
Eagles.
Eagles at Packers.
Packers.
Okay. Yep. I'll take Packers too. So you got
I got them at 3-2 right now.
3-1, and I got him at 4-0. No.
Well, I had.
Hold on. So you got Redskins, Eagles. We both said Eagles. Eagles at Falcons. We split. So you said Falcons. I took Eagles.
Yeah.
Both got them beating the Lions, and then we both have the Packers. So you got them 2-2. I got them 3-1.
What are you talking about?
You have them losing the Falcons and the Packers.
Right. Beating the Redskins, Lions.
Right. So that puts them at 2-2 on yours.
Shit, you're right. Okay.
And I got them at 3-1. All right. So Jets at Eagles.
Eagles.
Eagles at Vikings.
Eagles.
I'll take Vikings. Eagles at Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Okay, we'll go Cowboys there. Eagles at Bills.
Eagles.
Yep. Bears at Eagles.
Bears.
I'll go Eagles.
Okay. I almost wanted to take it back.
Patriots at Eagles.
Eagles.
I'll go Patriots. Seahawks at Eagles.
Eagles.
I'll go Eagles. Eagles at Dolphins.
Eagles.
Giants at Eagles.
Eagles.
I'll go I'm just kidding. We'll go Eagles there. Eagles at Redskins. I think we said Eagles will win that both.
Redskin. No,
said Eagles in the previous
you're right.
one.
You're right. I got to stick by my guns.
Cowboys at Eagles.
Eagles.
I'll take Eagles, and then Eagles at Giants.
Shit, I got them at 12-4.
I think I got them at 13-3.
I didn't think they were going to be that good.
Well, they're going to be good. Let's just put them 16-0 for the Eagles this year, winning the Super Bowl.
If Carson Wentz stays healthy, they're going to be really good.
That's a huge question mark, right? So if he's not there, who's their backup? They got Nate Sudfeld and Clayton Thorson.
Clayton Thorson's not going to be ready.
Cody Kessler, yeah. If he goes down, they're in trouble.
Sudfeld, the Hoosier. He's a Hoosier.
Yeah. I honestly wasn't too impressed with Sudfeld when he was at Indiana.
Thorson was pretty good at Northwestern.
Yeah, a lot of Big Ten guys there. Nate Sudfeld, Thorson, Cody Kessler. Where do you go?
USC.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, Midwest guy, though.
All right, so let's finish up with who?
Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. So talk to me.
Fantasy?
Ezekiel Elliott, you already said non-PPR, you're probably taking him
number one.
Same thing, you're going him with him.
PPR, PPR got him a little lower than other people. PPR, I like all the other early running backs more. I think his PPR could get hit because they drafted Tony Pollard. They like him as like a Lance Dunbar type back. I think he could take some catches away. You got Jason Witten back on the team, another guy that's going to take catches away from Zeke. There were no other running backs really catching last year, and they didn't have the blanket, the little binky of Jason Witten to dump off. So I think his catches could drop. He had 77 last year. I wouldn't be surprised if he's only around 50. Which, if you look at someone like McCaffrey, if McCaffrey goes, that means McCaffrey could double his catches. He could have, 55, 60 more catches. Zeke's going to have to get 600 more yards than him to equal that value. So the PPR could be taking a hit. And that being said, he might get 600 more yards.
Yeah. What about Amari Cooper?
I love him. He's streaky. If you draft him, you have to use a high pick, so you're probably looking at round 3, and you're going to have some duds. He just, even after coming from Oakland to Dallas, he had a couple games where he just didn't produce, and he had a couple games where he's just up and down.
Randall Cobb, Michael Gallup, where you got them?
Not that interested.
Really? No Randall Cobb?
You think Dak Prescott's that good? He's going to support 3 receivers? Yeah, I'll skip those guys.
All right. How about Jason Witten? He worth having around?
Probably not, but...
Darwin Blake?
No.
Rico Gathers, big guy out of...
He's never come around.
Baylor?
Baylor, yeah.
Really big guy.
Witten would be the guy to take there in a PPR, but I still think he's just a fill-in guy. If he's got a good matchup, you play him. That covers it. Cowboys this year?
Let's see what they got. So, Cowboys...
Them boys.
Giants and Cowboys. We got Cowboys. Cowboys at Redskins.
I don't remember what we said. I think I said the Cowboys would get him on one of them. I know I had them splitting with the Cowboys. So I'll give them the win for now.
All right. Cowboys versus the Dolphins.
Yeah,
We're going Cowboys. Cowboys at Saints.
I got them losing that one.
Got them losing that one. Packers at Cowboys.
That's a tough one. I'll give them the win.
I'll give them the win, too. Cowboys at Jets.
Give them the win.
Yeah. Eagles at Cowboys.
I think I had the Eagles taking the Cowboys there.
I think you split with them.
I know I split. I'll get them right when I split them.
All right. Cowboys at Giants.
Again, they win.
Vikings at Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Really, I'll go Vikings there. Cowboys at Lions.
Give it to them.
I'll go Lions there. Cowboys at Patriots.
Patriots get them.
Yep, Patriots get them. Bills at Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yep. Bears. Cowboys at Bears.
Bears,
yep. Rams at Cowboys.
Give it to the Rams.
Rams. Cowboys at Eagles.
This is where I had them split, so that I'll give that one to the Eagles.
Yep, Eagles take that one. Then finish with Redskins at Cowboys.
I'll finish my other split. I got the Cowboys at 9-7.
Yep, I think I got them at 8-8. So far, basically we're saying Eagles win it by a landslide.
Cowboys
sneak into the playoffs or no?
Oh, I don't know.
I say no.
We'll have to, yeah.
And then
Skins and Giants stink.
Skins and Giants stink. I think Skins could be okay, but yeah. Skins and Giants looking like they're on the outside looking in.
Agreed.
All right, so definitely send in your questions. We got willandmarkshso@gmail.com. Comment on the Robo umpires. We definitely want to know about that.
Your comments on Robo.
Tell us what you think about. Just send us an email with your rankings. So you got in the NFC East.
The questions were a little bit scantily, less questions this week. So we'll take questions on anything. You give us whatever you want.
Right. Doesn't have to be PT related. Could be.
We'd like PT related to sports.
Could be entertainment. Really, whatever's on your mind.
Whatever you want to talk about. We'll sit here and we'll talk to you about it.
All right. So until then, again, willandmarkshso@gmail.com, and we'll put it on there.
Yep. Sounds good. Boom. Right. Over and out.